I welcome Joe Manchin to come into the race if Joe wants to come in, but at the end of the day, I think we'll be okay.
Ultimately, it would be great for your resume to be the U.S. Senator from West Virginia, but at the same time, you could potentially help hand the Republicans the majority in the Senate. How big a factor is that in your equation?
It's everything. I don't care if anybody buys into this or not, but from my standpoint, I want you to know one thing. I'm a patriot, and I love this country.
There is so much I can say, but I'm not going to say it. But I will apologize to the dog because the dog didn't get a choice in all of this. And so I'm sending him my thoughts and prayers. But anyways, this dude happens to be the problem. And he happens to be the one who's challenging Joe Manchin there for his Senate seat in 2024. Yeah, that's West Virginia Governor Jim Justice. And really, there's no justice there, but it's cute. Anyway, if you're familiar with Jim Justice, you already know these highlights of lowlights, but let me go ahead and educate you otherwise. So as CNN says, Justice was first elected governor in 2016 as a Democrat. He switched parties the following year, announcing his move at a rally alongside Trump. It wasn't the first time he had changed his political affiliation. He had previously been an independent and a Republican until 2015. When he ran for governor as a Democrat, it's like he couldn't make up his mind of which party to kind of be on. That's really cute. It tells me there's a lot of loyalty and commitment there. Anyway, Justice easily won a second term in 2020. He has recently focused on conservative issues. Last year, he signed into law a measure that prohibits nearly all abortions in the state, except in certain medical situations or in the case of rape or incest. Last month, he signed a bill that will allow West Virginians who have concealed carry permits to carry certain concealed weapons onto college and university campuses. Because why would we want students to focus on their education when they could be in fear for their lives? It seems like so much more logical as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, it leads us to really the thought of his backwards look on gun violence. Check this out.
Look, I'm a hunter, and I've hunted and fished all my life, and you know that. But with all that being said and everything, I can tell you positively, now you may not like this, but I think you will. I have never seen a gun kill anybody, ever.
I think we know where that's going. Yeah. Well, before we fact check Jim on his delusion, here's his justification.
Put a gun right there, and you leave it alone, that gun's not going to kill anybody. But there's a heck of a lot of people that kill people. And we need to do something about the people component of it and not the gun component of it. And that's how I feel.
And so logical, he's so wise. It's kind of like, the set of knives that I have on the counter of my kitchen. They also don't kill anybody and they don't also chop any food unless I'm behind one of them. But still, the Republicans and logic, it's really not their strong suit. Anyway, well, Jim, who is now a Republican, since he wants to claim that this is how it should be, we really, I guess, shouldn't really have a gun conversation. But then again, maybe we should. I think we should continue the conversation. Well, at least when asked about Justice entering the race, well, Joe Manchin, he offered a typical response, saying that he is laser focused on doing the job West Virginians elected me to do, lowering healthcare costs, protecting Social Security and Medicare, shoring up American energy security, getting our fiscal house in order, and making sure that I continue to pocket as much money as possible based on my position and wealth. But make no mistake, I will win any race I enter, except for probably anything that requires a marathon. Well, Manchin remains undecided on whether he's gonna run for a full third term though, as there's been a lot of speculation as to whether he's going to run for president. That's cute. Well, Manchin's presidential flirtation raises big 2024 questions. Yeah, check that out. There you go. That's always good. Reading the briefing from Meet the Press, well, NBC's political unit really gave their insight there. And among the insight that has been provided out there, we want to bear this in mind, that West Virginians rank 4th lowest in the nation on quality of life metrics due to poor infrastructure and low economic opportunity. Nearly a third of the state's roads are in need of repair, and much of the critical infrastructure is nearing the end of its lifespan. Educational attainment in West Virginia is some of the lowest in the country. With less than a quarter of residents holding a bachelor's degree or higher, 14% of residents live in poverty, and one of the nation's highest rates. I'll also note that I remember seeing a study, I believe last year, that said that individuals in West Virginia, I guess, had the highest rate of toothlessness across the nation. Not that that matters, but it really speaks to the fact that the people there are in need and they deserve a representative who's not looking to fill their own coffers. But it doesn't sound like they're gonna get one, whether it's in Manchin, Justice, or whomever else. Mondale, what are your thoughts?
I was hoping the dog was gonna announce he was running for it, because I am not a fan of Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin himself should switch parties because he acts as a Republican. So the idea that a Republican, well, a now Republican, is gonna challenge him makes perfectly good sense. I mean, he's been pretending to be a Republican all the time, and I think West Virginia is gonna remind him that we'll take a Republican versus a play Republican anytime. So he continues to say that he'll win any race he enter, but I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, this is a Donald Trump Republican in a state that Donald Trump is extremely popular in. So Justice may have a chance, but we do know one thing about Justice: he's a patriot like the rest of the MAGA, the ones that will try to overthrow our government at any cost, especially when their candidate does not win elections. So let's hope that people don't run in West Virginia's house after Justice defeats Manchin, which I would be extremely happy about, not because it gives Republican control of the Senate, but because it shows the Democrats that as long as you have these milquetoast candidates running or being elected, you're not in a safe space. And I think the Democrats need to be reminded of that.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. And the fact is that West Virginians, they deserve so much better. And it's sad because it seems that every time they are voting against their own interest, just because Manchin has a D next to his name doesn't mean that he's actually working in their favor. And it's just one of those things that you really, really hope that people get wise and recognize that they don't have to live the way that they're living.